Welcome. My name is Dr. Mary Starr. It's our monthly wellness class, and I'm so excited for this class this month because it's a very important subject for all of us women out there. Hormones in our heart and how they play a piece. Heart health, so important. And just a little background first, because I'm going to be bringing up a very special guest who's joining us today. My first experience with heart disease, I remember I was in my early 30s. I was out just newly having children, and I had actually, no, I don't even think I had children yet. But I was out networking quite a bit, meeting a lot of amazing women out in the community. And I remember a very young woman, she was in her 40s, had a heart attack. Her name was Leisha. And Leisha was like my first like wake up call of someone outside of the smoke, overweight. She was a very healthy woman, but she was a very stressed out woman. She had a lot of things on her plate. She had a lot of emotional loss in her life. And it was really neat to watch her story and how all of those things played a part and really brought awareness to heart health and became an advocate after that as well. Heart disease is a very kind of critical heart concern for women. A lot of times we think of cancer, we think of a lot of other things, but according to the American Heart Association, 1 in every 5 female deaths is related to heart disease. I mean, that's really significant, and the risk factors, right? When we think of heart disease, you have to think of high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, sedentary lifestyle. I think Dr. Sherry might share a little bit more of that. But I think it's important for us. I remember as I was going through my perimenopausal journey before I started to get more balance hormonally in my life, I remember one day I was here at the office. We were doing some things, and I remember this crushing pain in my chest. And I'm like, what's going on? And the other chiropractors are watching me as I'm like massaging. I'm like, oh, and I felt a little nauseous. I felt really uncomfortable. Got adjusted, felt a lot better. Had to do with me fasting and, my gallbladder, but I always think back to this one video, and I wanna show you it. I think it's a cute video to remind us of, like, the signs and symptoms of heart disease. So let's watch this real quick, and I think you will enjoy it. Is it here? Found it on my website from many years ago. Here we go.
It started out like a totally normal day. Okay, move objection deadline to the third line after survey. So we always use the verb. What are you doing down there? Did you finish your breakfast? Ow. Don't hit your brother. You have to eat something. Here. Okay, 5 minutes to carpool. Where's my coffee?
You okay, Mom?
Oh, I'm fine. Sandwich orders. What do you want?
Almond butter and jelly.
Spaghetti.
Oh, you sure you're okay?
I'm fine, sweetie.
I am so late. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Hey, honey. You okay?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine.
You sure?
Oh, yeah. Here.
Acai, my favorite. See you guys later.
Wear your shoes. Put your shoes back on, please. Go help your sister. We're going in 3 minutes. What am I doing? I forgot to cut off the crust. Voila. Shoes on, potty if you need it. Honey, get your sister. Okay, get her. Nobody move. I'm getting a dustpan.
Mom! I think you're having a heart attack.
Honey, do I look like the type of person who has a heart attack? Sit down. I'm totally fine. Don't forget to wear the high socks with the shin guards.
Forget about the shin guards, Mom.
Come on, Mrs. Underdog is not gonna wait. Oh. I'm sorry to bother you. I think I might be having a little heart attack. Nothing really, just some nausea, tightening of the jaw, dizziness, shortness of breath, muscle pain, achiness, this terrible pressure in my chest. Oh, really? They can be here in how long? 2 minutes. Can you make it 10? I thought I had gas. Turns out I was having a heart attack. Heart disease is the #1 killer of American women. So now I take care of my heart and I tell the women in my life to do the same.
Sounds great, by the way.
That's nice, sweetie, but that's not my heart. That is. Make it your mission to save your life and the lives of the women you love. Find out more from the American Heart Association at goredforwomen.org.
Anyway, I just thought that was just a cute and very poignant. And now that I watch it, actually, all these years later, I'm like, it represents my mornings a lot with my kids. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, next up, I want to bring up a very special guest who I have had the honor and privilege of knowing personally for uh, since my early 30s when I prior to me or right before I was having kids and during that, when I was seeing clients in Central New York, and I would have some of these very challenging clients who I just needed more answers for. And I was able to work with Dr. Sherry and help some of those clients all those times in Central New York. Fast forward my life, probably a decade, both of our lives, and we find ourselves both in California working. And here I am, my perimenopause journey, getting my mercury fillings out and all those things. And Dr. Sherry has just always been a wealth of information. Some of you remember her lecture in 2021 when she helped us really evaluate COVID and long haulers disease and stuff. We had, unfortunately, a video that was taken off of YouTube, but we have a couple more of her good ones as well. And now she is fully seeing clients all over the United States and Canada, all over the world via her consultations that she does as well. It's just such a great resource as well. Doctor of chiropractic, nutritionist specialist, therapeutic lifestyle educator, certified recode practitioners. And I think she's going to talk a little bit about cognitive decline and Alzheimer's in the project she's involved in, because I told her that the majority of our clients are that over 50 client and a lot of our weight loss clients as well. So if you could please welcome Dr. Sherry. I'm going to spotlight you here, Dr. Sherry. There we go.
There we go. Hello, Mary.
Hey.
Hey. Hello, everybody. Thank you for inviting me. So, so Dr. Mary asked me to share some about hormones, and I have a little small PowerPoint, so I'm going to put that up on the screen. And so before I talk about the heart and hormones, I just want to talk just a little bit about hormones because, we have hormones from puberty to postmenopause, right? Our whole life. And so we have to think about how we keep our hormones balanced. And this is sugar and cortisol. And, we have to think our bone and our brain and vaginal health. And then there's psychological stress and emotional stress and all of these ping pong balls bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. And then another piece that we have to really think about is that all of our hormones come from cholesterol. And cholesterol, has been villainized because of its relationship to heart attacks, et cetera, when those studies were first done. And, those initial studies, they found flawed. They found that one of the agents they used as a preservative which is what caused the inflammation in the arteries, and it wasn't the cholesterol. And I think the original studies were on rabbits. So a lot has happened in the last, 30 or so years since the cholesterol scare. And we just need to see here that cholesterol is kind of like the mother molecule that makes all of our hormones. So if we are on statins for a long period of time, we have to really be checking our cholesterol, because you see a lot of men develop low testosterone and depression, and you see women's estrogens go down and progesterone, and they develop all kinds of hormonal symptoms. Joint pain, headaches, hot flashes, weight gain, et cetera, et cetera. So we have to be cognizant of that. Cholesterol is very important in our life, not to mention super important for the brain, helps make the myelin sheath. So really important for neurodegenerative diseases like multiple sclerosis, et cetera. So this is another really important piece. So as women transition from perimenopause to menopause, this space and time, this transition is associated with spontaneous increase in pro-inflammatory cytokines. And I have this, what really, are you kidding me? It's like, are you kidding me? As if like, puberty, childbearing, perimenopause wasn't enough. We have to think about that we're already kind of preset for an pro-inflammatory stage in our life. So we have to be very careful. And this is what Dr. Mary talks a lot about with insulin and blood glucose and anti-inflammatory supplements and diet. We have to get our game up. Just that's the way it is. If we don't do it, no one's going to do it for us, right? So Dr. Mary just mentioned this. The leading cause of death in women is heart disease. So 1 in every 4 females. Breast cancer is 40,500 women per year. So 7 times as many women die of heart disease than breast cancer. And, be careful what you Google, because you'll get all kinds of statistics on this with differentiation of breast cancer and heart disease. And I think if you stopped like 5 women on the street at any given time and asked them what most women die from, probably 4 out of 5 would say breast cancer or cancer. So this is important. Hormones and cardiovascular system. So as estrogen declines in menopause, hypertension increases. For women, even pre-hypertension increases cardiovascular risk more than smoking, a shocking 93% increase. So when we talk about as estrogen declines, we're really talking about estradiol. And remember, well, for those of you who were around my talk, you can remember this. And for those of you that weren't, I'll just say that there's 3 types of estrogen. Estradiol is made in our ovaries and subsides as we go through menopause. And estrone is made in the fat cells and the adrenal glands. And that estrogen can be a bad actor. That estrogen can be proliferative. And then we have another estrogen called estriol, which is E3, which is very protective for the brain and vaginal tissue. And so these studies that you read about with estrogen and heart disease, they are on estradiol. This is not estrone. So if you are going to get your hormones tested, you always want to get all 3 of your estrogens, because some women have exceedingly high levels of estrone, which means they're probably recirculating their estrogens, which then they are deemed, estrogen dominant. They're not clearing in their intestines. This is the water weight. This is the weight gain. This is the not feeling well, because it's too much of really the bad estrogen. So herein lies the important piece about replacing hormones, because the hormone that these tests are done on and the hormone that's protective for the heart is estradiol. So at some point, if women's estradiol becomes very low and they have a lot of symptoms of low hormones, they really will have to come to this moment in time where they're thinking about hormone replacement therapy or not. And the type of estrogen we use is super important. I don't have a slide here, but oral estrogen has to go through the liver to be detoxified. And we do not want to put that stress on the liver, because we don't know how well we detoxify. And not everybody is a good detoxifier. And then that estrogen has to go to the gut to be cleared. And we don't know how healthy the microbiome is. But when you use a topical or a patch, you're having a transdermal estrogen, which is much better, because you don't have to pass it through the body and risk this complications of more stress on the liver and the gut. So this is a huge study out of Finland. Estradiol-based therapies lower heart-related death cause mortality. So results of CHV deaths reduced by 18 to 54%. That's over half, right? And the longer you're on it, the more risk reduction. And then the risk of stroke death was reduced by 18 to 39%. And then risk of all-cause mortality, 12 to 38%. So all-cause mortality, the NHI, the National Institute of Health's 10 million women Medicare study came out in April 2024 and found that estradiol reduced 3 types of cancer, colon, lung, and breast cancer. And also, I think this is the next slide, actually. I don't have to memorize it. Yeah. Then also, even if these women had congestive heart failure, venous thromboembolism, AFib, acute myocardial infarction, and dementia, estrogen was still protective even with these underlying conditions. So again, here we are, low dose, non-oral routes of administration become increasingly important as women age. And look at this piece, low dose, right? We always want the lowest dose possible to make an effect on our body. And this is where I'm really adamantly, personally against the pellet. Actually, Brazil is creating all kinds of restrictions on the pellet because you get this pellet inserted under your skin and it's there for 3 months. So you get this very high physiological dose at the beginning. And if you're really deficient, that high dose doesn't feel too bad, maybe for a couple months. But then when you go in for that pellet, like especially with testosterone, women start to feel really aggressive and irritable and kind of just revved up like they drank too much coffee, but you can't do anything about it unless you go back in and have that pellet removed. But already that big dose has hit you. And I don't think it's so much heart friendly also to have such a big dose of testosterone like that. So I think there's much better ways to do it, which is transdermal. That's the way to do it. So
Dr. Sherry, can you share your screen? Are you showing slides right now?
I am. Is my screen not sharing?
No, we stopped it and then you need to reshare it if you can.
Okay, so I need to go back to this Zoom and I need to share the screen. Sorry about that, everybody.
Okay, at the bottom, I think, or should say share.
Is that sharing now?
Give it a second. There we go.
It says you're sharing that screen.
Sharing now.
There you go. Okay, so this is that 10 million women Medicare study. Okay, so this is the estrogen only protective against 3 types of cancer. And, you know, estrogen has been really vilified. And I'm not saying that every single woman can take estrogen, but we have to remember that the hijibis we were scared to death when that first study of the Women's Initiative study came out like 20 years ago. And it also showed that it increased heart attacks in women and stroke, but that's because they were using synthetic estrogen. They were using Premarin, which comes from a 3,000-pound beast and has metabolites that our liver and gut don't know what to do with, right? Because they're metabolites for a horse. And they use synthetic progesterone, which is shown to create all kinds of havoc. And if you see this study, the NHI did not touch that synthetic progestin. They did a natural estrogen. And when you bring in natural progesterone, these statistics even get better. Natural progesterone is very, very protective. So it's known that 70% of people who have a heart attack experience no previous symptoms. And then 75% have normal cholesterol levels. So this reveals that, you know, relying solely on standard lipid panels to detect heart disease is really not working. And I really encourage everybody, if they haven't gotten one, to ask their doctor for an advanced lipid panel. Quest has one called Cardiac IQ, and Boston Heart has one. Boston Heart has a great website. So it breaks down all of these small lipid fractionated particles. And this LPA here is really important because it's an abnormal protein. It's genetic, so it doesn't have anything to do with how you diet or exercise. And it's a very sticky protein. And in men, it will reach its height by age 2. In females also, but then the level rises again with menopause. And it rises as estrogen drops off.
Okay.
So as estrogen drops off, this level rises, and there's no way of knowing that unless you test for it. And niacin is very helpful for it. But these subparticles are the drivers behind heart attacks. And, you know, when you hear, like, remember Arthur Ashe, the tennis player, he dropped dead of a heart attack, extremely fit, you know, healthy, athletic. He had gotten a blood transfusion that had HIV virus in it, and they assumed at that time that was what killed him, but it wasn't. It was the LPAA. And scores of other athletes too. On autopsy, it was found that they had these high levels of particles, and they're sticky and they break apart and they create clots. So this is another very cool thing. This is a very new finding. This is the inside of an artery, and this looks like grass growing all around the artery. And it's called an endothelial glycocalyx. And this was never seen before until the 1960s with an electron microscope. And when this little jelly matrix gets hard, then our arteries get stiff and they don't expand. And so we get high blood pressure and we get lack of fluidity across our membranes. And there are 60,000 miles of these in the body. So what harms this endothelial glycocalyx? High blood sugar, insulin resistance, prediabetes, diabetes, obesity, alcohol, poor diet. So this is very much under our control. So that's really cool. And I love the fact that, you know, these technologies identify these things. And as you can see, that was the 60s. So now we're, you know, what, 40, 50, 60 decades later, they're finding ways to measure this in regular people. And then they've come up with ways to improve the glycocalyx matrix. So there is a new name on the block, a new kid on the block called meta-inflammation. And this is this high blood sugar equals vascular inflammation, and it damages this matrix. And then once damaged, this allows cholesterol to enter, starting the plaquing process. And they have found that 70% of people under 30 have some form of plaque. And I don't know, there was a study done back in the Korean War when young men were killed, and they did autopsies and they actually saw plaquing in the heart. So Dr. Mary and I both said this the other day, that we have to really work for our health. It's not a given. And the more pieces we know, the more pieces we can test, right? And we can look and see and not just show up for that 10-minute, once a year wellness visit that does a standard lipid panel and looks at your cholesterol and it's okay, and that's okay, right? But it's not okay because it's not just about cholesterol. So these vessels become permeable like a leaky gut, and it triggers an overactive coagulation process. This leads to clots and more plaquing. So preventing the breakdown of this is really key. And one of the simplest ways of doing this is really having your blood sugar stay in a really healthy range, not have excess weight on your body, and preventing inflammation by eating a low anti-inflammatory diet and taking, nutraceuticals that help with inflammation. So just want to mention too about estrogen and progesterone. So very important for heart health, but very important for brain health. And remember, the brain uses glucose for energy, but it really also can use fat. So when people go into ketosis, the brain can use fat, and the brain loves fat, and the brain is cushioned by fat because that's what the myelin does, is it cushions the nerves and it cushions the brain. So estrogen increases something called BDNF, and that's a growth factor, and you can increase that in 10 minutes with exercise. It improves glucose utilization. So this is really important. So we need estrogen to help with glucose, and we need healthy glucose levels to help with our arteries. And it's also found that glycomatrix that I just showed before, the glycocalyx, that is also helped by estrogen and progesterone. So reduces oxidative stress. So, stress on the artery, stress on the brain. And then progesterone supports myelin repair. And so here it is again, the brain. So repair of these fatty structures, and it's neuroprotective. So our hormones are there for a reason. Mother Nature gave us them. They go to exceedingly high levels in pregnancy. When you think about it, if hormones triggered cancer, then every single pregnant woman on the planet would get cancer. When you look at the 3rd month of pregnancy, how high those hormones are. But they have protective roles, and everything has to stay in balance. So Dr. Mary suggested that I bring this up, and this was on my hormone 2-part series that I had. I offered this 4-week transformational package, and this is for people who really want to dig deep and really want to look at their thyroid and their sex steroid hormones and their gut microbiome and their brain metabolism, and have somebody know what assessment tests or what functional medicine tests to order, and to be able to review, and then review what they're doing for diet, exercise, and lifestyle, and really hone in, a personalized treatment program and nutraceuticals. So if you know of anybody that really wants that deep dive, this offer says it ends January 31st. Anybody's open to this. That was just for the lecture at that time. So just want everyone to know that this exists if someone would like to work with me on a deeper level. I want to thank you. I want to put my contacts up, and then I just want to say something. So Dr. Dale Bredesen is a UCLA neurologist who worked in the lab, the research lab, for like 40 years trying to find the drivers of Alzheimer's. And he figured out that Alzheimer's was not a one-pill approach, that it was this massive lifestyle piece that had to do with glucose and insulin and blood sugar levels and toxicity and the gut microbiome and hormones. And so he put together this program. It's called the RECODE program, and he has reversed over 500 cases of Alzheimer's disease. But for most of us, we have to just think about preventing cognitive decline, because as we age, we lose things, right? We lose our hormones and our enzymes and our neurotransmitters, and it's just a given because we're on this continuum, and the continuum ends with death. And so we all want to stay as healthy as possible. So on March 12th, I'm going to interview a woman named Judy Benjamin, who was Dr. Bredesen's first patient. And she has totally reversed Alzheimer's disease. She's totally in recovery. She now works as a coach with the RECODE program, and she's going to walk across America to bring attention to how people can reverse Alzheimer's disease and to bring awareness to Bredesen's program. So I will interview her on May 12th, and you're all welcome to come to that. I don't know, maybe Dr. Mary can send you out an email when I get that together, but we're just going to talk about, who she was, what her work was, when she got diagnosed, and what she did for recovery. But I also want to say that Judy is 80 years old. And so when I talked to Judy last week, she just came in from a 5-mile walk in the pouring rain in Washington, D.C. That's where she lives, or Virginia, getting ready for her walk. And so this is iconic, right? She's really an icon here to be able to do this for herself and to tell people and coach people, but to take on this massive walk across America. So wanted everybody to know that. That'll be March 12th. I don't know if it'll be the daytime launch or the evening, but I'll figure that out as time goes on. So I've got a couple weeks. Okay, Mary, I think that's it. I'm really sorry about the slides. If there's any slide that somebody wants to see, let me just go back here. Oh, I'll just pull oh yeah, we did that one, right? We came in on that one, the 10 million. Okay, I'll just keep this up there for a second. So this is that estradiol-based therapy lowers heart-related disease. And this is a Finnish study, but there are studies all over now. And just keep in mind that this is natural or bioidentical estradiol. This is not Premarin. This is not synthetic estrogen, and this is not oral estrogen. And that's probably such an important takeaway here. Okay, Mary, I'll stop sharing because I know you need to get on with this. So thank you, everybody, for listening to that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sherry. What an honor to have you with us this morning. She got up early because she's on, of course, the West Coast, and it's much, much earlier there. And I just honor you and I really appreciate you. I just want to highlight too just a couple of things you said about the pro-inflammatory, this transition from perimenopause to menopause. I remember when I was in my 30s and I was treating 50s, my special clients in their 50s who are just transitioning, and just how much pain syndromes they had. And I remember back then in Oswego County, oh my goodness, the medical doctors and the GI went and they put everyone on SSRIs, antidepressants, and all of these pain medicines. And I just even today working with clients again in health coaching, I just see people on so many medicines that really probably could be avoided if we knew the root cause, right? If they understood the root cause. And I love how you test and stuff too. But even myself, like I have this little bursitis in my ankle. And I remember, getting my first even in my weight loss journey, just getting more aches and pains. And I'm like, what's going on? And being able to dial that in and really work on inflammation. And that's what I'm very passionate about right now as well. Um, Dr. Sherry, you're welcome to stay with us. You don't have to, but I'm going to go through some of the products that Young Living has that can help us on this journey and help us. Now, I've done a full lecture on some of the hormone products, so I can give everyone the ability to get some of those classes that I did. Let's see here, put it in present mode. Here we go. So heart healthy young living essential oil products. So Dr. Sherry talked about natural estrogens and progesterone. I know one of our favorites, and if you're using it, you're welcome to write it in the chat, is really Progessence Plus. This is our natural progesterone. I don't want to call it a nutraceutical. It's in a serum. There's lots of good research about that was developed by Dr. Purser, a medical doctor who works with women, and it is by far my favorite right now. I wish I had paid more attention to it when I was going through perimenopause because I didn't sleep. I was just waking up in the middle of the night almost every night. And now I so love using just a couple of drops at night. And if I wake up in the middle of the night, I'll use that again and I sleep so well, but just a lot of great benefits to that. And we could go on and on about all of our hormone supportive products. I know Endoflex is another great one. Femigen is another great product helping women with their hot flashes, and just really Clary Sage, Lady Scleral. Young Living has a whole line of hormone products. But today I really want to just dial in and talk about some of our really positive heart specific products. Now, this product called CardioGize was actually developed by our founder, Gary Young. For those of you who don't know his story, just was a pioneer in wellness and nutrition and found a lot of great natural resources in South America. And one of his many travels, and of course he lived in Ecuador for many years, in one of his many travels, he contracted Chagas disease from a spider bite, which literally put a hole in his heart. And once he was diagnosed with this, he wanted anything he could get to support his heart. So he came up with this culmination of a product, and I'll tell you a little bit about it as well. It includes some amazing essential oils. One of our highest essential oil products, just so that you know, like German chamomile, angelica, helichrysum is in there. It is very nutrient rich. It has CoQ10, which of course is very positive to cardiovascular. And if Dr. Sherry is here, I'm going to have her talk a little bit about CoQ10. Promotes circulation, just very good. It has selenium and vitamin K, lycopene, and it's very in in the research they did, I guess it's very balanced with its selenium ratio to, I think, the K2 in there. Lycopene, what else is in there? A particular type of garlic that is amazing for the heart, and the list goes on of all these amazing uh, constituents. What I like about this product too, though, for those of you who have a wholesale membership with Young Living, um, it's only 44.50, which in terms of cardiovascular support, I was really impressed with this too. And I'm like, you know what? This might be a positive thing because I know heart disease. Now, one thing to remember with the K, if you're on blood thinners, this is not a product for you. If you have cardiovascular disease and you have a medical doctor or someone you work with, you make sure that this is something that you could actually be on. Dr. Sherry, are you still there?
I'm here.
Can you talk a little about CoQ10? I know you've talked to
Yes,
me
well,
about it.
CoQ10 helps basically muscle contract. It helps with energy and mitochondria. And this is why it's so important with statins, because it knocks out that enzyme that helps make CoQ10. And without that, people end up dying of congestive heart failure because their heart muscle can't contract and it fills up with fluid. So CoQ10 is super important for the mitochondria of the heart.
Absolutely. We've been talking a lot about mitochondria lately as well. And I'm going to talk about another product here, similar as well. So next one is MindWise. Now, a lot of you think of MindWise as it's the cognitive benefits that it has, and anyone who has a family member who's struggling with cognitive wellness, you probably have noticed some significant changes when they get on this product. This is a reminder for me, as we're having some more struggles with my son who has autism. I'm like, oh, what have we not been doing? And oh, let's get him back on this MindWise. Now, why is MindWise such an amazing product? It's a combination of we have in here turmeric, we have oils of lemon, peppermint, fennel, anise, lime. We have CoQ10 in here, GPC, ALCAR. We have a high proportion of unsaturated fatty acids and omega-3s in this. And then we have pomegranate, we have rhododendron leaf extract in here. I said a couple of these. I said turmeric already. But this blend, the Sachi Ichi, I'm not saying it right, but I do know for those of you who are in our weight loss program, this is a very powerful tool to help you feel full. There's some evidence in what it does in terms of GLP-1s and different things like that. So really powerful in the weight loss journey too. But it just reminds me of all these amazing stories that I hear in terms of cognitive wellness, that in heart health, that this is such a good product to support our cardiovascular health and cognitive wellness. We do have another product in our line of omegas. And I know omegas too, Dr. Sherry. Do you want to say anything about omega profiles or anything like that that you recommend, or anything, why omegas are so important for heart health?
Well, omegas are anti-inflammatory. That's probably the most important thing for heart health. You have to have a pretty high amount of EPA and DHA, like at least 700-800 milligrams. Some people's dosages are too low, what they take for if you really want to hit the heart, and especially adults. I mean, you need values that high. But fish oils keep cell walls fluid and permeable, so they let waste water and nutrition in and waste products out. And they're very good for the eye and the retina, the skin. We just need, they're lubricating. But their claim to fame is really they're very anti-inflammatory. So we need it for our heart, our brain, our gut. Yeah, and I have people do on their regular blood tests, I have people do omega panels to look at the ratios of their EPA, DHA, and then the other ones, the linolenic and the linoleic acids. And then there's home test kits you can do called an omega-3, and you can prick yourself. But again, I always wonder when you prick yourself that the minute that blood, hits the air, it gets oxidized. So I'm not a real fan of anything that you prick yourself at home. I think it's much better to do, when you're getting phlebotomy, when you're just getting it right out of the vein and it's not subject to air, because you don't want to spend money on a kit and then have it have a false value because the blood got oxidized. So yeah. So fish oil is super important.
Yeah, that's huge. That I'm glad that you said that. That's really huge because even a lot of these tests, they'll be anywhere from 100, 300, sometimes $600, these at-home tests. Um, so that's really important to know too. So in our arsenal of terms of omegas, which we had right now, we are transitioning. We used to have a great product called Omega Gives. We're transitioning. We have a vegan omega-3 supplement called Green Omegas. 3 soft gels contain some of the highest amounts of DHEA and EPA. Each serving has and Dr. Sherry, what was your DHEA? This has 330 milligrams. I know that many functional doctors who use this, they give people double doses.
Yeah, you have to be up, 7, 8, 9, up on that level for adults.
Yeah. So I think this is why too, some of our functional doctors use the MindWise and the Green Omegas together as well. So that they're getting those higher doses as well. The Green Omegas, let's see, EPAs, natural ALA. It has clove, which is really, really high in antioxidant properties and very protective for the brain and the arteries. This is when you add a therapeutic food grade essential oil to a supplement, it makes it much more bioavailable to the body and really very powerful. I could talk on, but we're going to keep going here. So the next product is probably by far our favorite product and what many of you have used, many of you who have done the Ninja Red or the Rev Up program, the Reset program, is that you've done a Ninja Red. And we've had this product since, gosh, 2007 in some variation or form. But it wasn't until people started doing the higher doses of the Ninja Red, this antioxidant juice, that really, really started to blow away the results in terms of inflammation, flushing inflammation, weight loss. There's a lot of great research and, I could go on, but one of my friends just recently, let me see if I can find her little talk she did. Let's see, we'll get out of here. She did, Donna Grace. Donna has been working with essential oils for a couple of decades, and I love her little lecture here. Let's see if we can find it. Oh, let me go back here. Oh no, it disappeared. But she was talking about all the benefits of the wolfberry. The wolfberry, there's literally books and books written about the benefits of our wolfberry. This book, which any of you who are part of our reset, you can get it in the free app. You can read the whole entire book. It's called The Ninja Wolfberry, the Ultimate Superfood. And not only are we seeing how it combats heart disease, maybe I'll pull up that chapter as well, how it is beneficial to heart disease and helping to reduce blood pressure. The minerals in it help with hypertension, the potassium. It reduces inflammation. It reduces the risk of blood clots. There's studies on, how it lowers, I guess, the bad cholesterol, you could say, and helps to raise the good cholesterol. Protects against oxidative damage to cholesterol and fat. I mean, the list goes on, and this is what we're seeing with our it protects the liver, it protects the eyes. It actually helps to give this very good bacteria in the gut, the Lycium barbarum. This particular wolfberry, the one from Ningxia, China, that we use in our Ninja Red, this particular wolfberry is a longevity wolfberry. The people of Ningxia, China, why do they live over 100 years of age? Why is this the secret weapon of many Chinese athletes? Is because of what it can do to our mitochondria. Like the list goes on and on. But back to the gut. I laughed with you, Dr. Sherry, when we did my last GI effects test because this one bacteria was like through the roof, like this good longevity bacteria. And that is a direct result of I know how much Ninja Red that I drink all the time because it was very funny for that. So I highly, highly recommend for those of you who haven't, or maybe you're just watching this, where do I start? What's a good place to start? A great place to start is here with the Ninja Red. It's something very simple that you can take. It tastes great. You can have it a lot of different ways. The whole family can have it. My kids, my littles were taking it, and my 99-year-old grandmother, who never was on any medication until like I think 97 or 98 friends, 97 or 98. And that's because her heart is unfortunately slowing down a little bit. So, but my point is it's such a good product. And I think woman after woman, man after man who do the rev up, the diet, the exercise, and like Dr. Sherry says, the nutraceuticals that we recommend, this being the number one product, we see so just amazing, amazing results. So if any of you have, let's see who's on, who can share a little bit of what, and let me explain real quick what our Rev Up weight loss program is. If you're not familiar with that. Oh, wait, first, let me talk about Aroma Life, and then I'll take I'll take a couple of your testimonies, take a few questions, and then we'll end. So I do a scanning tool called ZytoLink. I don't know if you're familiar with this, Dr. Sherry. It's Zyto Technology has been around for a lot of years, and now they have transitioned to use optical imaging, heart rate, different algorithms. And I've been testing it close to about a year and a half now, but I've been doing it since 2009, the Zyto Technology, and I just get blown away of how amazing the results are. So you can import, like we have every one of Young Living products, and we can see on there what systems might be out of alignment. And then it'll give some recommendations at that moment in time. And it's always a moment in time. But I'm going to tell you a quick story about one of our clients that we worked with, and she was a good friend. She worked with us, and I kept scanning her, and her cardiovascular system would be 140 out of range, and her heart rate would be high too. And I said, oh, it's just because you're being active, you're cleaning. I just kind of wrote it off. And this is when I was first using this new technology. And lo and behold, she had major blockages. And the scan kept coming up with Aroma Life. It kept coming up cardiovascular. It kept giving all these clues that we didn't see. And guess what? She was having hot flashes. She was having horrific, out of alignment hormone health, which Dr. Sherry didn't share, is that she went to her GYN. She went to her primary. They just wanted to give her blood pressure medicines or anything like that. They didn't want to look at the root causes. They didn't want to look at the root causes. And it was very, very unfortunate because she lost her job. She, just there was a lot of heartache in this from not having the proper guidance, right? And Dr. Sherry and I can tell you that, we can offer our clients, we can tell them what to do. We can say, all right, get yourself on the rev up, do these things, do all of these things, but it's up to you, friends, to make, and it takes work. No one can do it for you. Aroma Life is a phenomenal product. It is one of the products that Gary used to support the heart. It is very good. A lot of my POTS patients use this to help get their heart rate under control. You can use it on the carotids. You can also do the acupressure points inside the arm and here in the finger, just putting the Aroma Life right on there, and it does work. It's a beautiful oil to diffuse. If you're someone who has a lot of stress, this is a beautiful, beautiful oil, and that's some of our our lovely products. Of course, I could talk about lavender. I could talk about a lot of different heart blends, and maybe I'll put that in the comments in the description of this video as well. All right, so I want to just pull up a couple of our guests here to share just 30 seconds of what our Rev Up wellness eating lifestyle program has done for you. We do this 10 days together. Miss Holly, I'm probably going to pull you up because you're one of our few guests that are on camera. We've got lots of people off camera today. Can I pull you up to share really quick how your health has changed in the Rev Up Wellness Program, how using Young Living supplements, Ninja Red has helped you?
Certainly. So I've been on the plan on and off for, well, we've done it for a year now. So every month we do it. And I continue to join because I'm learning being Cajun. My lifestyle was crazy. The food's fantastic, but I wasn't healthy inside out. And the older I got, I thought it was normal to age, to be slower, your hair to turn colors and your mind to slow down. I thought that was normal aging, and people, it is not. When I got on the plan, I started eating healthier options. I started lessening processed options and flooding my body with the nutrition, whether it's Ningxia Red or all the things she mentioned, pretty much sulfurzyme and Super B for energy, every B vitamin in a tablet. When I gave my body the nutrition and I lessened the toxicity I put in it, my energy is phenomenal. Like, I'm outpacing lots and lots of people around me that are just flabbergasted because the energy is there. The sleep is phenomenal. So yeah, I can't give enough of how much I've learned. I could talk a week about it. It's phenomenal.
Awesome. And you are how old?
61.
61. High five. Great job. Karan, do you want to share a bit?
Hi, good morning. I started Rev Up. It'll be going into 3 years in March. Kept off 55 pounds. Still have about 8 pounds to go for my ideal weight. But since I've been on Rev Up, I haven't had digestive issues like I used to. I used to have diverticulitis, and that's gone, totally gone. The 2 hernias I had are repaired. Like Holly said, your energy is just phenomenal. My night vision, I worked rotating sevens, and so a lot of times I was driving in the dark and I would squint just when an oncoming car came. I don't do that anymore. It doesn't bother me. My vision, actually, I have to get new glasses because my script's gone down. It's gone down 2 times back to where I was almost 6 years ago. Again, it's changed my life. It's kept me alive. It's the exercise that you've conditioned your body to do. It's like today, for the first time, I told my husband, I said, oh my God, it's like we all have a muffin top, especially when we gained a lot of weight. My muffin top is not touching the lower part of my stomach. Now it's there a little bit, but it's not touching the underneath to where it holds moisture. So, I mean, physically we're changing, emotionally we're changing, mentally more focused, more energy. I can go all day. I mean, it's wonderful.
Oh, awesome. And how old are you, Karan?
I will be 60 in less than a month.
Oh, we got to celebrate. We got to celebrate. Very good. Awesome. Well, friends, I am so grateful that you were here today, but I'm going to challenge you. We know that many of you watching today, you're like, okay, I heard a lot. I heard a lot. And we know there's probably 3 categories of people watching or watching this replay. And we're going to encourage the first group of you that just want to kind of test the waters. What can I do to just start to support my heart? Get started with some Young Living products. If I had to pick one, of course, I think most of us would use the Ninja Red. It's such a powerful whole food that it just is so safe. It just feels so good in your body. You could start with just a couple of ounces a day, or join us in the Rev Up where we do 10 ounces a day for 10 days and just really flush the body of inflammation. We have a beautiful loyalty program where you can get free products. It's a great, great product, but maybe you have more cognitive issues. Maybe you have a history of cardiovascular disease in your family. You might want to add some of these other products with you and get back to the person who invited you so they can give you a link so that you can get started with some of these products. Now, next up, I'm going to encourage you to join us for our Reset Rev Up program. The Rev Up is very focused in teaching you food plans, mindset. But if you just want to test the waters, we have a beautiful Reset program, has a full app that you can get started, and your only investment is to get your Ninja Red. And you can get a great guide. The app walks you through it. It's really good. If you want to go a little more intense with there, we have the Rev Up anti-inflammatory program. There is a little cost for that. It helps us to feed orphans and widows over in Uganda as well, keep that program going as well. So that is like the next step for you. And we're in that program right now doing the reset. So it feels great. All right. Now, the third type of person or category is like, okay, I've got a lot going on. You know, Dr. Sherry was talking about this. Maybe you've had a heart attack. Maybe you have had you're going through into menopause, or you're just struggling, or maybe you have cognitive decline, all of those things. So these are some of our options for you. Again, the ZytoLink assessment, this is a low-end investment. I think it's around $65, and it just kind of gives you a clue like, oh, okay, this is where I am this moment in time, and I give you an assessment recorded that you can go through and look at that, and that's a great thing. Some people like to do the 60-day wellness program where we teach you more in depth about the Rev Up, or help, guide you in, oh, okay, did you realize that was causing a lot of inflammation? And this is a program where we meet in the beginning, we meet a couple weeks in a row, then we go a little bit longer until you get into more of a, I've got it, I can get this, and it's very focused around your food, your mindset, all of that. Now, Dr. Sherry, she talked about her program and she showed you that later. This is her website as well. Again, she's our hormone, gut, brain wellness, a lot of the testing. She can guide you. Like most of you, if you go to your traditional doctor, will not have a clue of what you really need, right? And Dr. Sherry can work with you, and she works with your budget as well of where to start first and what's the best. Now, some of you who do have maybe 100 pounds to lose, or 50 pounds like me, you may need something a little more intensive, like our 6-month program where you meet every week, you are connected daily, you have a lot of accountability. And that's Coach Wendy. She does that program from our Rev Up program. She's lost over 70 pounds herself, and it's a really good program. She has major success with that. And we have, I think, several people, a lot of people who've lost over 30 pounds, 20 pounds, 50 pounds, and then several people have lost over 100 pounds with her in the last couple of years that Dr. Wendy or Coach Wendy has been doing that. So get back to the person who invited you and tell them, what person are you? Are you just ready to get started and test the waters? Are you going to jump into the reset or the Rev Up? Are you ready to really invest in your health and get some health coaching from one of our great practitioners here? Thank you, everyone. I'm going to stop the recording here. Actually, I'll keep it going. Is there any quick questions? I know Dr. Sherry has to go. It's right at our hour here. Any quick questions?
Mary, can you just put those links in the chat for the different Rev Up options that you showed?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Dr. Sherry, just real quick, when people start, if they wanted to invest in your $700 program, because I know to meet with you first time, that's a really good discount that you're giving. Tell us about how many times you would meet and what that looks like again.
That includes 4 times at 75 minutes.
Oh,
So, and that can be broken up. So like I tell people, the first time for sure, 75 minutes. And some people will do an hour the next time and bank that 15 minutes. Then they can, do a Zoom or a phone call just to check in. So it's very flexible on splitting it up and how people want to work with it.
okay.
Because that
great.
could extend it out, could go from 4 weeks to like 6 to 8 weeks if they start chopping it up a little bit. And that's fine with me because especially if they're going to order labs, sometimes it takes a while to get them and get the results back. So, totally flexible. It has to be low stress and it has to be able to be absorbed at the pace that people want to take it in, the information.
I definitely agree with that too, because you can get on overload and like, oh,
Yeah, I mean, it's so much information.
it is, it is, it is. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm going to continue to put information in the chat, but I will put it down in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. Thank you again. Remember, our community of Young Living users, you get these monthly wellness classes every single month. So next month we'll have another topic for you, and we're looking forward to it. Bye-bye.